The best way to not feel hopeless is to get up and do something. There are so many people who are not willing to take initiative, but they are willing and hoping that great things will come their way. There are many people who desire happiness, but hardly have the courage to begin doing something that will be able to influence their lives positively and get them to that level where they can begin to enjoy the happiness which they are seeking in themselves or in their lives. Initiative is to success what a lighted match is to a candle. Grace and peace to you. I wish to talk about initiative. You can't build a reputation on what you are going to do, Henry Ford once said. Initiative is one of those things that so many Christians lack, and because they lack initiative, they are not able to accomplish so many things they hope or dream about accomplishing. They spend all their time wishing, hoping, but they never ever get to accomplish anything in life, in their real lives. They may spend all their time praying, but prayer cannot put food on one's table. Prayer cannot get you what you want in life. Prayer cannot write an examination for you. So when you pray, you must be able to do something effectively to put into practice the graces you have received from God in prayer into practice. And when it comes to initiative, therefore, there are so many people who are not willing to take initiative, but they are willing and hoping that great things will come their way. But it is important to realize that we must begin to take initiative if we are ever to accomplish anything in life, whether as Christians or as non-Christians. Barack Obama, the black American president, the former black American president, and one of the great orators of our time, has urged mankind in the following words: the best way to not feel hopeless is to get up and do something. The best way to not feel hopeless is to get up and do something. Don't wait for good things to happen to you. If you go out and make some good things happen, you will fill the world with hope. You will fill yourself with hope. There are many people who desire happiness, but hardly have the courage to begin doing something that will be able to influence their lives positively and get them to that level where they can begin to enjoy the happiness which they are seeking in themselves or in their lives. They desire success and they want greatness, but hardly ever begin on the road to success. They forget that initiative is to success what a lighted match is to a candle. Until the match is lighted, there is no way the candle can ever burn. And so until I begin doing something positively and actively, there is no way that the talents I have in me, buried in me, can ever be actualized. I can be the best singer in the world will ever have. But if I don't begin to do the singing, there is no way the world will ever get to appreciate or get to know that I am talented or I have the talent to sing. Initiative can be looked upon as the first step in the process that once taken determines subsequent events. In practical terms, it means conceiving or seeing something that needs to be done and setting out to do it. I think of doing a business, I set out, I get out, and I begin to do it. I think of praying, I get out, and I begin to pray. I think of working, I go out, I begin to look for a job to do, and I begin to work immediately, I get the job. For effective and active initiative, we must be able to overcome our own insecurities, the fear of failure, the perfectionist attitude, our comfort zones, and embrace the challenges and responsibilities that come to those who dare. I have never forgotten one of my teachers who, during the evaluation of staff, was evaluated, and what was said of him was very industrious but lacks initiative. He's very industrious but lacks initiative. It is one of those comments that seems to present him like a blind horse, full of energy, but which must be harnessed but it can only be harnessed by some other person for it to be effective. Someone may be saying already, but how can I, or how can there be an industrious man who does not have initiative? The reality is there are so many people who daily get employed and get fired. They are hired and fired from their establishments, from their jobs, because they are very industrious, but they don't have the initiative. They are not able to do things on their own. They must be asked to do something before they are able to do it. They must be given directives before they ever get to do anything they have to do. If nobody is there to tell them what they are supposed to do, then nothing will ever get done. And it plays in their own family lives. And there are people in their family lives, husbands and wives alike, who are not able to get to accomplish or achieve anything in real life because they wait for somebody to tell them you must do this before they begin doing it. And if there is nobody to tell them what to do, then they never ever get to do anything, and so they never ever get to accomplish anything. Zig Ziglar says there are two sure ways to fail in life: think and never do, or do and never think. If you want to fail in life, then you have to think and never get to do what you have thought about or what you are thinking about, or do things and never think, which simply means that you do things without thinking. You need somebody to think for you. So if the person who has to think for you is not present in your life, then there is no way you're ever going to achieve anything in life. It is so crucial to be aware of this, because without this awareness, we may wallow in our initiative-less abyss, only awaiting someone to tell us what to do. We must think and be creative and get ready to act. In fact, when it comes to initiative and action, there are four kinds of people we are able to identify. The very first group of people we can think of are people who act without being told. These are people who are ready to face their fears. They take the bull by the horns and get out and set out on the path to success. They know their future is in their hands. They are aware, like Winston Churchill, that when eagles are silent, parrots begin to chatter. These are creative people who want to do something and have the positive mind they can, and they set out and they begin to do it. And because they try to do it, more often than not, they are successful. And when they are successful, then those who lack initiative and who are not able to do, they may begin to give them names and give reasons why they are able to do what they are able to do. But these are people who are able to get out, face their fears, face the challenges, take the risk, and begin to do something. And this is actually what we need as Christians, because once as Christians we recognize the grace of God and the presence of the grace of God in our lives, we are able to set out and begin to do things and begin to achieve financially, in our jobs and whatever we want to do. We can be able to dream of projects and dream of things and get out to accomplish them, rather than sit and wait for somebody to come to nurture us or push us to begin to achieve for ourselves. Because in life, we are all on a mission, and when I realize that I'm here on a mission, then I have to seek the purpose for which I'm here, understand it, and I set out to achieve the purpose for which I am here on earth. The second group of people, when it comes to initiative, are people who act only when they are told. There are many who are daring to do things, but they are ready to act only when they have been given external motivation, only when they feel they have enough moral support, only when they feel that there are people who are there to support them, to push them on to get to achieve, only when they feel they are able to accomplish what they are setting out to accomplish. And most of these are perfectionists, because it's like, I may not succeed, I may not get it, but we must realize that we have to get on to do, to accomplish, to implement, and then we can begin to think about perfecting later on. The perfectionist approach, our perspective, is that which kills a lot of people who are not able to accomplish many things in life, even as Christians, because they always want things to be done in a perfect way, but they fail to realize that you cannot achieve anything even perfectly, if it is possible, without beginning in an imperfect manner. They are not aware you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. When you get started, you can become great, but you cannot be great before you get started. You must begin from somewhere and try gradually to begin acting on your own ideas. And when you begin to act on your own ideas and you are able to dream your dreams and struggle to get them realized, then you become somebody who is able to achieve things, and you build your ability to work on your own initiatives. But even as a Christian, if you're not able to work on your initiatives and build on your initiatives, there is no way you're ever going to achieve anything, because without your ability to engage your own initiatives, then your talents are useless. You may be the most talented person on earth, but without the ability to put your talent into practice, then there is no way you can ever achieve anything in life. Now, the third group of people are people who act only when they are told more than once. The second group of people are people who they are able to do something or to get their initiative into action when they have been told by some other person. But the third group of people are people who are able to act or do something only when they have been told more than once. These are often the real kind of perfectionists that we may think about. Those who think if they have to engage in something, it must be successful. If there are any prospects of failure, then they should not engage at all. If you are one of these kind of people, let Larry Wingate ram this down your throat. Implement now, perfect later. Implement now, perfect later. You must be able to take the risk, grab the opportunities, and act now. Because if you're not able to act now, even the future, you will never be able to act. And the fourth group of people, when it comes to initiative, are people who never act no matter what. There are people who never act no matter what. These are people who are stagnant in life. They may trust in God and in providence, but they are forgetful of the fact that God gives every bird his worm, but he does not throw it into the nest. God gives every bird his worm, but he does not throw it into the net. And so people who never take initiative, who never act, are people who never ever really get to achieve anything in life. They spend all their time wishing. They spend all their time hoping. They spend all their time wanting to get things in life, but they never ever really get to have anything in life. And so somebody says there are three kinds of people that you can think of in life. The very first people are the wishbones. The wishbones are those kind of people who spend all the time wishing about things that could have been done or that they could do. They spend all their time wishing that they're able to actualize or accomplish things, but they never ever initiate the accomplishment of those things. So everything about them ends in wishing, and there is nothing to show for all the wishing they ever get to do. And the second group of people are the jawbones. The jawbones are those kind of people who talk and they express beautiful ideas. They have all the kinds of ideas that you can ever think of in life. They are able to speak about their ideas and speak about their dreams, speak about their visions, they speak about their goals, and they can be on it today and next year and after next year. They are on the same goals, the same dreams, perfecting them every day, but they never ever get to implement them, and they never ever get to act on the dreams that they get to talk about every other day. And these kind of people, they lack the initiative to be able to put their dreams, their goals, and their visions into practice, and so they achieve nothing in life. And the third kind of people are the backbones. These are those kind of people who think, and when they have thought, they begin to implement what they think about. When they dream, they begin implementing their dreams, because they are the kind of people who can be relied on. They are kind of people whom society needs. They are kind of people who have something to give the society. And these are the kind of people that the Christians really should be. People who are able to think, trust in God, and begin to put into practice their dreams, their goals, their visions, trusting and knowing that it is the divine intelligence that is working through them and in them. Because the knowledge we have is acquired. God illuminates us. God gives us knowledge for the good of mankind. And if God gives us knowledge for the good of mankind and we don't get to implement it for the good of the same mankind for which God has given us the knowledge, then we are wasting God's inspiration, God's illumination, God's power and grace and presence within each and every one of us. So we must get to do something practical. We must get to begin to do things that will bring about a change in the society, that will begin to better the lives of people in the society. And the words of King Solomon have been rephrased, in the Old Testament have been rephrased in a text that is paraphrased, the message. And I love it so much. And when it comes to initiative, those are those kind of words that should actually influence anybody who thinks and who wants to take initiative in life. And the words, here are the words as paraphrased. It says, "You lazy fool, look at the ant. Watch it closely. Let it teach you a thing or two. Nobody has to tell it what to do. All summer, it stores up food. At harvest, it stockpiles provisions. So, how long are you going to laze around doing nothing? How long before you get out of bed? A nap here, a nap there, a day off here, a day off there. Sit back, take it easy. Do you know what comes next? Just this. You can look forward to dirt poor life, poverty, your permanent house guest." These are words that speak to mankind. Paraphrase from the words of Solomon about the lazy man who has nothing he's waiting for apart from poverty and a reckless life, a life in destitution. So, if we hope to be a change in the society, we must set out to take initiative, to begin to do something for ourselves. And it is at times strange when one meets Christians who are ready to go on night vigils, who are ready to go to the mountain, who are ready to go on days of fasting, weeks of fasting, and why not even a month or more of fasting, praying God for breakthrough, praying God to give them what they need in life, but they are not able and willing to get out to begin to do something. They think of a God who sits in the heavens and throws provisions for them, who gives them money and who gives them what they need for their daily living. But we must be able to pray, receive the grace of God, and be able to implement the grace of God in our lives through the things that we are able to do. Living our life of faith in our relationship with the work we do, knowing that human labor is not a curse, but Jesus Christ has blessed it through his own presence. Being a carpenter in Nazareth, Jesus brings dignity to human labor, to human work, and raises it to something useful for mankind and not just something to be regarded as a curse. Because as God has said, asked us to dominate the world. God has asked us to take control of the world. We must be able to be physically working in order to take charge, have dominion over the creatures of his hand, what he himself has created, the birds of the air and the fish in the sea. Most of the successful people we know never got to a point of greatness or success just when they set out. It is often a process or journey that takes one step a day, and daily taking those steps brings mankind and brings one to greatness, to success with commitment. And I guess this is what inspired Murray, who expressed it smartly. And this is what he says: until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth: the ignorance, he says, of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that will not otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issue from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance which no man will have dreamed will come his way. It is when we engage that we see things pouring into our lives to help us on our journey towards greatness, towards achievement, towards success in whatever we want to do in life, which we will never have thought of and which will never have come our way. We begin to find opportunities which we never knew existed, and we begin to pick up all those opportunities and use them towards the advancement of our goal, of our purpose, and whatever we want to do in life. Initiative is so very important in life that without it, we seem to be useless. Without it, we seem to be empty, and life seems to just mean nothing, and we never ever really get to achieve or accomplish anything in life. We need to begin to work at being creative. And creativity means I think, I dream, and I begin to see how to actualize what I'm dreaming about. And so, to build a life of initiative, I must be able to carry out certain activities or do certain things which may be any of the following. One, I must be look for new ways to approach the same difficulties. Look for new ways to approach the same difficulties. I must think creatively and look for new ways to approach the difficulties I faced in life. I have difficulties in my business. What do I do to be able to have a breakthrough? I look for new ways to approach the difficulties I have. I'm able to recognize and realize these are the difficulties I have with doing my business. These are the challenges I have. And I look for new ways to approach these difficulties. I must be able to do much more than I am paid for. Now, the reason why so many people get fired from their jobs is because they work for what they are paid. They try to do just as much work as they are paid to do. But when I realize that I need to do much more than I am paid for, it helps me as an individual to put in my best, to put in excellence. And when I begin to put in excellence, I begin to own the job I am doing, and I'm able to do far more than I'm able to do. I take the initiative to do far more than I'm paid for, and I begin to excel, and success begins to come my way. And when it comes to anything, promotion, improvement, increment in remuneration, and of course my employer thinks about doing it for me. It is about I must become part of the leading crew and own the ideas, not just a worker within the establishment where I work. Now, so many people working in various establishments consider themselves just as workers, and so they never ever get to own the idea of the CEO or the person who established the company or the firm. And so all they do is do work to receive their pay. But then when I realized I need to own the idea of the proprietor of the establishment and see how not just to be at the level of a worker, but own the idea and see how to push the firm, push the establishment forward. It makes me to become creative, and I'm able to take initiative therefore, without which it is difficult for me to take an initiative because I only think of what I'm doing, like working for my proprietor, working for my employer, and not about raising the standard or bringing the establishment to a certain level. I must be able to realize that my ideas count, so I must speak them out. If I don't realize my ideas count, I will never express them. But when I realize my ideas count, then I'm able to express them, and in so doing, my employer sees something in me that is different from other workers. I must be able to be open to learn and to be inquisitive, to learn, to know more, to be inquisitive about the things that I need to know, and so that I can be able to do the work I do even better. I must be able to make use of the opportunities at my disposal within my workplace or my job and whatever I do. And there are always so many opportunities that are at our disposal. But if we do not realize that there are these opportunities at our disposal, there is no way we're ever going to use them. And there's no way we're ever going to take the initiative. But when I condition my mind to think positively and begin to take initiative, then it becomes easy for me to be able to realize these opportunities, to grab them, to use them, to be able to achieve whatever I want to achieve. And it is important to note that there are so many people who never ever are able to accomplish anything because they keep procrastinating. One of the things about those who do not take initiative is that they procrastinate. They always think about tomorrow. Their hopes are that tomorrow they'll be able to do what they should do now. And Edgar Guest has a poem which I love so much, and how I wish everyone who has difficulties with taking initiative were able to read it. And he says, he was going to be all that a mortal should be tomorrow. No one should be kinder or braver than he tomorrow. A friend who was troubled or weary he knew, who would be glad of a lift, and who needed it too. On him he would call and see what he could do tomorrow. Each morning he stacked up the letters he would write tomorrow, and thought of the folks he would fill with delight tomorrow. It was too bad, indeed, he was busy today and hadn't a minute to stop on his way. More time he will have to give others, he would say tomorrow. The greatest of workers this man would have been tomorrow. The world would have known him had he ever seen tomorrow. But the fact is, he died and faded from view, and all that he left here when living was through was a mountain of things he intended to do, but tomorrow. He died and faded from view, and all that he left here when living was through was a mountain of things he intended to do tomorrow. The reality is, those who hope to begin doing things tomorrow usually die today. And so it is important to realize I need to begin to take the initiative to do things and not wait for things to happen to me, and not wait for people to get me to begin to do things. I must set out, overcome my fears, my insecurities, and take the risk and face the challenges which I must face to be able to accomplish anything in life and to be successful in doing anything in life. And I must begin to do it today. Without initiative, life is meaningless, and there is no hope for any achievement or attainment of any goal in my life. And so you can do it. You can become that one person who is an exemplar of initiative in your family, at your job site, wherever you find yourself. Just begin doing it, and you realize life comes easy, and many of the things you feared doing will become easy to do, and you are able to accomplish much more than you ever thought of or ever dreamt of. God bless you. God love you.